Hello students, how are you? Today in this session we are going to briefly discuss about Mendelian law of inheritance, and Mendelian law of inheritance is considered as a very important topic, and it's from the branch of genetics, a very applied and a very vast field for life sciences, and it has its applicability in the husbandry sciences or the plant sciences, or in the different kind of human studies it involves. So in this session, at your level in your curriculum, the Mendelian law of inheritance has been included is there, and we are going to discuss about what is the Mendelian law of inheritance and what are the laws and what are their applications if the time allows. So let's begin. What do we understand about the inheritance? Inheritance is a process by which the transformation of the some sort of characters transformation of the characters from one generation to another generation. You mean from the parents to offspring, like a mango tree. The offspring from the mango seed is also similar to the mango tree. Like in human population, all the animals they have some sort of inheritance, either complete or partial, or some sort of inheritance is there. So this is inheritance. Now, what do you understand the Mendelian word? Mendelian word comes from the George Mendel, and George Mendel was a priest in a church, and he's considered as a father of genetics. And during his stay in a church in a monastery, he observed that the pea plants, a very well known incidents reported in the scientific history, that he observed some sort of pea plants, some sort of pea plants that has different texture, different color, different height, different characters. So all these things are considered as a character, and he observed that out of when there are two features of one character is there, out of them in the next generation only one character appear, and this kind of observation gives rise to lead him to the conclusion that there could be some laws and some rules that can define. But since it was very in the initial stages, and he proposed something that was beyond the time, that was beyond the science of his time, so it was rejected by the contemporary scientists. But later on, different scientists try to repeat their experiments, and he observed that the findings of George Mendel was really significant, and they fascinate them to develop into a complete branch of science of genetics. Okay. So basically, he defined three laws, and out of these three laws are first one is the law of dominance, second one is the law of segregation, and third one is the law of independent assortment. So before going into the law of dominance and the law of segregation, because why I'm talking about these two, for these two laws we will use the monohybrid cross, and for the law of independent assortment we will use the dihybrid cross example. So what do you understand by the monohybrid and the dihybrid cross? Monohybrid cross is a cross where the offspring where only one character is considered for the hybridization, but in the dihybrid cross we consider two characters during the time of hybridization. So, law of dominance. What do we understand by the law of dominance? Dominance word itself defines that there is something that will dominate one thing or something like that. So, for every character, let's say an example for the height. For every character, there must be some factors, because at that time genes and chromosomes during the time of George Mendel was not reported. It was found that he reported that there should be some factors that define the features of a character, and such characters should be two in number. So out of them, when the one is available, out of them, when the one is there and the another is there, so out of these two, the dominant will mask the ability of the another one, and this further denotes as the dominant and recessive. When the dominant and dominant is present together, it gives a character of its own type, and then when recessive and recessive is there, then they have ability to express their own characters. But when dominant and recessive are present together, then it's not something like then in the majority of the cases dominant will express, but there are exception for this rule also, but at this moment we are not going to discuss about the exceptions. Okay, so this is very simple rule, and I was trying to explain you that what do you understand by the law of dominance. Similarly, there is law of segregation. Law of segregation is the segregation means separation of two factors for one character, and goes into the gamete, and this is considered as a purity of gamete, because gamete is haploid, and when two gametes merge together, they give rise to a diploid zygote, and zygote again maintain the actual number of the gene DNA, actual number of the chromosome in its nuclei. So gametes are haploid, and haploid gametes has one chromosome from each parent. Fine. So definitely according to this rule, if a character has two factors, one factor will go into one gamete and another factor will go into the another gamete. Not two factor at a time will go in the same gamete. Have you got my point? I repeat, the two factors will not go into into a single gamete. Only the one factor out of these two factors that define the character of an individual will go into the one gamete, another will go into the another gamete, and this whole is defined as a law of segregation. Okay, and the third and the most important one is the law of independent assortment. As the word itself defines the law of independent assortment, that means the separation or the diversion of the characters or of the factors of a particular character will independently go into different gametes. So let's take an example. If there is a black man with black eyes, and there is white woman with blue eyes. So out of this, when these two individuals got married, there are chances of producing a different number of offsprings, and all the offsprings could be different in terms of the phenotypic characters or the appearance and morphological features as well. So here we are taking an example for the dihybrid cross. Two characters two characters are considered. One is the height and another is the eye color. Okay, so there is possibility of combining the two characters together, like black eye with white color, blue eye with black color, blue with white skin color, and black color with black eye. So in total, 4 different gametes will form, and 4 different combinations will further give rise to a 32 number of offsprings, and that could be defined by the Punnett square. So law of independent assortment finally defined that out of the pair of the factors, only none of the factors is influenced at the time of the separation. I repeat, none of the factor is influenced by at the time of the division or separation going into different gametes. Either the tall or dwarf can go, tall and dwarf will not be influenced to each other, to either to go in a particular gamete or not. So this in total is called law of independent assortment. So if you will have a time, then I would like to go in further detail for these topics, and so that we can discuss more and we can have the better understanding of this topic. I would like to utilize my resources to make you well aware about this topic. And thank you very much for listening me and joining me. Thank you.